Once upon a time, in a small town in South Africa, there was a young girl named Sarah. Sarah was a student at a school that was segregated based on race. She was an apartheid girl, living in a society that was deeply divided by racial discrimination. Sarah was a bright and curious student, and she loved learning new things. She was particularly interested in history and politics, and she often asked her teachers questions about the world around her. Despite her love for learning, Sarah faced many challenges at school. The school was segregated, and the facilities for the black students were far inferior to those for the white students. Sarah and her classmates were forced to attend classes in cramped and dilapidated classrooms, while the white students had spacious and well-equipped classrooms. Sarah was also subjected to discrimination and prejudice from some of her white classmates. They looked down on her and her fellow black students, and they often made derogatory comments and jokes about them. Sarah was deeply hurt by the discrimination and prejudice she faced at school. She felt like she was being treated like a second-class citizen, and she couldn't understand why people could be so cruel and unfair. Despite the challenges she faced, Sarah refused to give up. She was determined to get an education and make something of her life. She worked hard in school and earned good grades, and she also found solace in her friendships with the other black students. As Sarah grew older, she became more aware of the injustices of apartheid. She began to see the ways in which the government and society were keeping black people down, and she became determined to fight for change. Sarah became involved in the anti-apartheid movement, and she joined a group of activists who were working to end racial segregation and discrimination. She attended protests and rallies, and she spoke out against the injustices she saw. Sarah's activism was not without risks. She faced harassment and threats from the government and its supporters, and she had to be careful about what she said and did. But she was determined to fight for what was right, and she knew that she had to keep going no matter what. As the years passed, Sarah continued to work for change. She became a leader in the anti-apartheid movement, and she inspired others to join the fight for equality. She also continued to excel in school, and she went on to study at a prestigious university. Despite the challenges she faced, Sarah never gave up on her dreams. She graduated from university with honors, and she went on to have a successful career as a lawyer and activist. She used her skills and knowledge to fight for justice and equality, and she helped to bring about real change in South Africa. Looking back on her experiences, Sarah knew that she had faced many challenges as an apartheid girl in a segregated school. But she also knew that those challenges had made her stronger and more determined. She had overcome the discrimination and prejudice she faced, and she had gone on to make a difference in the world. Sarah's story was an inspiration to many people, and she became a symbol of hope and determination. She continued to work for change and justice throughout her life, and she never forgot the struggle she had faced as a young girl in a segregated school. As she looked back on her life, Sarah knew that she had been lucky to have had the support and encouragement of her friends and family. She also knew that she had been fortunate to have had access to education and opportunities that had been denied to many other Black South Africans. Despite the progress that had been made in South Africa since the end of apartheid, Sarah knew that there was still much work to be done. She continued to advocate for justice and equality, and she encouraged others to do the same. In her later years, Sarah looked back on her life with pride and satisfaction. She had overcome the challenges of her youth and had gone on to make a difference in the world. She had shown that even in the face of discrimination and prejudice, it was possible to overcome obstacles and achieve great things.
Please subscribe to my channel Lessons of Life and press the bell notification icon.